Seriously, it's not going to work. Went in through some dog food in this. Wes, right down here at the creek. I was catching a few bait fish, but it's not the best use of my time. Went through some dog food in this minnow trap, crawdad trap. I'm just gonna put it out there and let it do the work for me while I take what I got and go on in and go fish. This is Wes S. Got me a fire going. I have a this is a metal coffee can, number 10 can would work fine. Doesn't matter what was in the can, and I know this works. Done it several times. I'm gonna boil water in this, put some crawdads in there. This that's gonna annoy me with the choppy, draggy, not dewy right thing or whatever. There's I'm gonna have to play around with some way to make it play though, because that's just like, this is the coolest feature ever. Actually be able to put a video out and do this as the premiere instead of the other. If somebody has questions or whatever, we can stop the video, we can discuss it, we can go on and we can talk about it and everything. I wanted to run this video because it ties right to what the title of the live stream tonight is about. So anyway, we had Da Bullfrog was in here, Uncle Al, Carol, Aid, Keith, Vision Quest, who else? C103. Who else? If I missed you, my apologies, Chipper. Most of y'all probably already seen this video. I do a crawdad boil in a coffee can, and it's I would like to point out that it's a high visibility shirt. So if you're going to go do this stuff, wear high visibility clothing. Makes it easier for the rescue team to find your dead body. Surviving was survival versus living and being alive versus continuing to breathe. I like going to where I'm at on this video. That's like the third bank of the Antonio River is where I'm at right there. Very rarely, if ever, does the water get that high, but that is all sedimentary, whatever. That's just silt and sand that I'm standing on. All them trees are growing out of silt and sand. But anyway, I like going down there to do things because there's always somebody around. You know, from there, it's a 30-minute from there to Bob's main compound and can go visit or whatever. I'm not alone. I'm not actually out in the middle of nowhere trying to survive. When I did a video today, I haven't posted it or whatever. It was the 10 question thing. One of the things is, are you mentally prepared for whatever? To a point where if you have to bug out, a get home bag, they've always made sense to me. Bugging out from one location back to another location or a primary location, that makes sense to me if you have one. But when you have to abandon all out into the bush or whatever, I mean, I don't know if anybody in here has watched Alone yet, but it's just a matter of how long it takes you to starve to death. Granted, they put these people on loan out in places where you just don't want to be to do it, but Hello has 121 mission control. Who else? Tibor. Anybody else come in I miss? And we're never ready for Arctic weather to come in. Or I'm not anyway. I waited to make sure that SOS wasn't going to go live before I scheduled this. And I was in the middle of watching an apocalypse movie. That's why I was late getting here, to be honest with you. It's probably one of the better immediate and early response depictions of, like the first 2.5, 3 months I've seen. It's mostly, there's a lot of drama in it that's a total waste of everybody's energy, but there's a bunch of good parts in it. I'd like to watch more. I've got to watch 3 or 4 seasons of Alone. Honestly, the first season, Alan Kay, if they do an All Stars and invite everybody back to do it again, my money is on Alan Kay. If he'll go back, I don't think he'd do it again. He doesn't need to. Oh, yay on the weather. But how many of y'all are actually putting thought into living while you're trying to decide? Who wants to wind up like the thumbnail on this video? Being that chicken. Just ain't able to hold on to your feathers, just barely got your skin, and that's it. He really does so far. If they ever make the mistake of doing that somewhere where they don't have all the rules and stuff, There's no telling how long that would go. If they would pick a part of the world or something and would say, okay, y'all guys are exempt from the rules for this challenge. There's no telling how long those people could stay out there. But that's just the survival deals, by the way. If all the people that plan on going out in the bushes and hunt for their food and stuff, if half of them make it to the bushes, everything worth hunting will be dead in the first 4 weeks. And then everybody will be starving. The end. There's not that many animals out there. See Run 03 picking on people? Oh, do y'all have one of those things to go to, C103? Y'all gonna ruck up the side of the mountain again? Hey, Rachel.
I just got a messenger message. Just a reminder that we invited you to church tomorrow.
Who was that?
Your ex-sister-in-law.
Oh, geez. Took me a minute to put those together. You had to say it the dirtiest possible way.
Yeah.
You know, by marriage, it's the same thing to you. So. Not going.
No hogs, turkey, deer. Huh.
Yeah, Ireland would be a rough place to do it. You know, like after the die off or whatever, which in a major event, doesn't matter what it is, at least half the people in the cities and country, I mean, just, you know, come on, if there's 50% of the people would die at the end if the grid went down or the economy totally collapsed and everything broke loose. There would, you know, with, you know, no fuel, no farming, the food's are going to run out. People are going to starve to death. People are going to be getting stupid. People are going to be killing each other. So, you know, year 2, there would start to be some game. By year 3, there should be some. But a lot of that wild game will be feral livestock. So, hey, who, man? Hey, Trey.
Rachel, just say hi to her.
Yeah, I said hi to Rachel. Hey, Lance. I almost didn't say hey to Lance. So, the girls got their stickers and Valentines and stuff. Rachel and Lance. Hand delivered them myself. And somebody sent me a package, but it was too big to go in the thing, and I have to pick that up tomorrow. Whoever sent that. Monday. Yeah, Monday. I can't go tomorrow. That wouldn't do me good.
Leah was excited about getting a thing in the mail.
Yeah, Leah was very excited about getting mail. I don't know as grown-ups, we all take it for granted, but little kids, can you imagine how special it is? Something coming with their name on it in the box, and it's for them. Mail your nieces, nephews, mail them stuff.
There's the hillbilly with the coffee can.
That'd be me. That's cool hillbilly right there. That's the hillbilly that's going to start showing his butt up on YouTube a lot more, because that's the kind of stuff that makes you young. You hurt every morning you wake up, you're like, what was I thinking? Then you drink your coffee, you get your fire going, or you get your fire going, you drink your coffee, and you just do it again. I make it sound like I'm ready to go. I don't want to be there any longer every time I leave, but I just need to live closer to something like that. I need 160 acres I can play on. Just play on it all the time. Yeah, that's 121. That'd be the thing, is you need to be back to basics. You need to be doing the basics now, because you only get to screw up once. It is super easy to screw up butchering a hog, and it's super easy to screw up on canning. There's stuff you just need to be practicing now. The more stuff you know how to do now, the easier it's going to be to live. People that weren't preppers 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when I first started meeting people on YouTube, actually like going and meeting people, weren't preppers. They're preppers now. The guy that got me down here on this property, Woodbeard, he preps now. He's from Canada, for crying out loud. They got trout all over the place. They got mooses and bears and stuff. What's Rachel taking a selfie of? Hey, Will. Oh, okay. I bought a piece of jewelry today, and now I have lost it. Oh. I just went to the top part. Oh, y'all can't. Oh, no. You want me to try to play it here? Let's play this video for a little bit. See if it comes up. See if it works. Or if it does the jumpy leggy, no play.
Bears it gets. There's no adobo. There's no Mrs. Dash. There's no salt.
I was talking about Woodbeard, and I made a Woodobo reference, which is actually really good, by the way.
Eating some crawdads because I'm hungry. If there's paper on the outside of your can, don't worry about it. Put it on the fire. If it's plastic, please take it with you.
The reason I say about taking the plastic with you is opposed to throwing it on the fire. Folks, y'all know that stuff puts out like seriously noxious gases or whatever. Oh, it'll blow away and blah, blah, blah. Just Put it in the trash.
There are mulberries laying all over the ground right here too.
And yes, I was picking the mulberries up and eating them. Those red ones are sour.
In case anybody's wondering, I'm down here at the river. Supposed to be fishing, but
anyways, y'all get the drift on the video, I think. We won't keep messing up the stream with it. There's a difference between surviving and living, though. I mean, you can't live without surviving, but just surviving is not really living. That's what wipes all those guys out on the loan. Is most of them they could go longer, but they get to thinking about their family, they get to thinking about their friends, they get to thinking about TV, warm house, easy food, and they've got a way out. Literally, all they have to do is hit a button. You can actually buy your own global SOS. Your little satellite. BA showed one off in one of his videos. Where you pay a subscription and you're out hiking and you can't get out and you hit a button and the guys in the bright red shirt show up and they take you home. When you grab your inch bag and head out the back door, there's nobody to call. You better be ready. What's Carol doing?
Agreeing with Chipper. He said that would be ill advised.
Well, what's Carol doing? Oh, ill advised agreeing with Chipper. Oh, Chipper's talking about 121 making videos.
Yes, but she agreed with Chipper, and just
yes.
Agreeing with Chipper's a bad thing.
And that's me. I mean, everybody knows where I live. Everybody knows my last name. Everybody knows everything there is to know about me. That was never my intent, but people get started digging, and well, the people that don't dig are the ones you would be okay letting know. But then you got the kind of people that dig and it's too late. So that's why I'm really on, if you just, all you people that thinking about doing YouTube videos or whatever, operational security. Screen name, your state. As close as anybody needs to know. Matter of fact, if you can, do your videos a 6-hour drive away from your home. Or 2. Something. I mean, I quit doing the homestead videos for a reason. I mean,
if you live in Texas, you need a haircut, and you're married to an amazing woman.
Yes, that's pretty much it. Oh, y'all see the picture she put up on her jewelry website thing today? She's pretty. I have to start working out, get back dating weight or whatever, or somebody gonna swoop in and steal her.
I ain't got time to start over and start trying to train one. I'll just deal with the one I have.
I thought you was telling people the other day I wasn't even housebroke good yet. Or no, you were saying I was almost trained. And these people give me a hard time for being housebroke. Just, you told me I have to go outside, I go outside. Proceeds to drive into ocean. Well, if you, Mrs. Knight, would do videos, I think you could be forgiven. Does anybody in Hawaii watch YouTube besides Rachel? I don't know.
They're just normal people, honey. Because they live on an island.
They live on a volcanic island. I don't know if you can be normal and live on a volcanic island. But I mean, let's say it's 3 or 4 months you're stuck in your house. Do y'all have games put up? I mean, like games that, one of the most indispensable things you could possibly own in the apocalypse are multiple decks of cards. And dice. Get a freaking Scrabble game, for crying out loud. Get a couple of them in case the pieces go missing. Do not get Monopoly. Monopoly has caused more dysfunction amongst families than any other game I've ever met in my life. Because everybody always cheats at Monopoly, including me. It's a rare family that can play Monopoly together and not have hurt feelings.
Books, yeah, we got lots of books.
Yeah, books. We have books.
I don't have enough, but we got lots.
Honey, we have boxes and boxes and boxes. But hush. And that's that was like one of my favorite videos to ever shoot. And I was just goofing off, man. I missed that. Which we got a road trip on, but now we got a schedule around. I'm not going to be around much in March. So, yeah. I got to remind me to get hold of Bob and Shona. They're doing that thing, and I might be able to take Tyler with me to BTSR. That would be wicked cool.
When is his spring break?
12th through the 21st, I believe. March. The same as in real life, Tibor. If you get lucky and you land in the right places at the right time, you make the right decisions, you get ahead of everybody else. So you're obviously cheating.
Oh. Yeah, that wouldn't happen.
What's that?
I've heard my kids play it, and I wouldn't play it.
Oh, yeah, there's no way I'd play that with your mom. Or my mom, or...
Me? I'm not gonna play.
I don't know if I'd play. I'd play. I think it's funny, but yeah, but that's. I don't know if I would be able to justify the power drain for running the video games. I actually quit playing first person shooter games because when I realized that I'd become addicted to it, and I was literally planning on just dropping the $600 to get the new system, and then I was spending $100 a month on games, so I could sit on my butt and twiddle my thumbs. So hey, Bitty Boo. Freaking, you know, I mean, and I really, really enjoyed playing the first person shooter games, but there's nothing more stress relieving than shooting some 8-year-old kid running across a battlefield dressed like Rambo and listening to him squeal like a little girl and call you bad names. I don't know why it was fun, but it was. I had a group of about 100 people that we would get together, you know, not all at the same time, but there was about 100 of us that we would always want. There was times where there was over 20 of us would be in the same room and we would dominate the entire, you know, we'd have a team over here and a team over here and we would just play.
You actually, like Pac-Man, Paxton, whatever. There's actually people that you talk to outside of the game.
Yeah, Pac-Man and Werewolf. And, well, Leland still talks to Werewolf. Yeah, it was pretty serious. And, you know, if somebody gave me an Xbox 4, I'd go back to playing. Or one, yeah, one. Not at the PS4 and the Xbox. If I got Xbox One, I'd probably go back to playing every once in a while, but yeah, Rachel does pretty cool stuff on Instagram. I've already followed too many people. If I tried to watch everything that everybody put up on Instagram, I would be lost and I'd be on my phone all day long. Yeah, Call of Duty. I've done all the Call of Duties. My favorite is Call of Duty 3, but that'd be probably a good way to do it. First, get through your Seuss's, and then get into some of that more psychologically stimulating stuff. And actually, um, just for the record, if you play first-person shooter games where you can put the headphones on and talk, you can chat a lot more freely in there than you can anywhere else. So those people that know each other in real life ought to know each other on the online gaming situations. BO2. Hey, I don't know. I've got the Modern Warfare one was stupid. It's the stupidest shit ever. All that jumping and crap, the dumbest shit ever. My grandson apparently can slay you on Call of Duty. I don't know. I haven't played him in so long. But he's been playing since he was 4. That's not my fault. Hey, Old Spice. Oh, Black Ops 2. See, I like Black Ops 2, but I like Black Ops 3 better. Is it Black Ops 3? With the one with Rust. Rust was like the best map ever. Pew Pew. Freedom seeds are still too scarce around here for just throw them around willy-nilly. Might see if he wants to come out here and waste some 20 gauge. It's probably not even here. He probably carried it home. I never did get into the DTA stuff. And that's okay. We're always like, oh man, our world's falling apart. Everybody's misbehaving, this and everything. People watch stuff like Breaking Bad, what's that one with the gun running dope dealer motorcycle guys? Sons of Anarchy or whatever, yeah. And Deadpool. And those are like their heroes. The main character in Breaking Bad was a dope dealer. I watched episode 1, 2, and 3, and by 3, I just wanted somebody to come around the corner and take him out with a school bus. Selling meth, for crying out loud. I mean, making meth. Don't care why he was doing it. I don't care.
That's the reason I don't have TV.
Yeah, I mean, there was, in, everything that's coming on, after something runs on network, then they put it on Netflix. And everything that's on there is either, demons, werewolves, witches, vampires, um, homosexuality, just anything that is opposite to biblical principles. That's everything. It's just like you can't, and that's all anybody wants to watch. Anything they do put out there that's morally viable is done in such a sickening way. You're just like, man, why would I want to be those people? So,
Yeah, the stress can be a stress reliever, yes.
pretty much the Christian that's in this movie, which is Goodbye World or whatever. It's actually a really good movie if you haven't seen it. She's definitely broken. But I mean, everybody's broken. That's what people seem to miss. Y'all, if you're not subscribed to Jeremy over there on One Wildcrafter and you're a prepper, you're missing some really good stuff. Ask him permission. I'm going to do I've refrained from doing a pantry video of a food, or a serious food prepper type video or whatever, until I saw how he did his and laid it out, and it just made so much sense. And I'm gonna do one, because just watching that video, I was like, man, this is like could really help somebody get ready. I mean, following his deal, if you've got the money to do what he did, we took sort of a lesson out of that video, and my wife looked through the sales papers, and we went to the grocery store today, and I don't know how much, I didn't hear how much the total was or whatever, but we bought meat. They had meat, like, I was like, how did meat get so cheap all of a sudden? But it didn't matter. It was there. There was no limit on it. We filled the freezer up today. And people are like, well, that's not, you're going to have to eat all that if the power goes out or whatever. Nope. If the power goes out and I'm not in a situation where I can eat everything before it goes bad, it will be put in canners. I'll can it. The next thing, or my plan, I guess I should run it through the missus or whatever, but it's still off season for canning right now, so all the canning supplies are filled back up. I checked the other day, but I was on a mission to do something else, and I didn't want to have to fart with it. Get the flats, the lids. Get some more jars. I've got 24 jars. That's not a lot of jars. When did we turn the cable off? I don't even know now. It's been 8 or 10 years, yeah. But yeah, but there's still plenty of bar. Sorry, that was a joke. There was at the back because everybody was like, ah! And they were buying canning jars and stuff like that was going out of style. Everybody started watching YouTube, and at the beginning of this shutdown and everything, there was so much doomer porn going around out there. Scared everybody to death. So you've got people with canning jars and stuff stacked to the rafters because they didn't think there would ever be any more glass made. Okay. So, but everything's coming back. People quit panic buying. And I'm not suggesting definitely not suggesting any panic buying. Panic buying is stupid. That's Jeremy, the one wildcrafter. He showed his stuff. This was a panic buy. I don't know how to cook this stuff. So he stuck with a whole bunch of food that he doesn't have any idea how to cook. But he was like, oh, this is what everybody's buying, so I'm going to grab it. Well, 121 out. It's an American thing. We've been canning over here. I think all my canners actually say American on them. Yeah. I'd be looking for property in Canada or New England if I was you. Take a lot of that place. Our ancestors deciding that place wasn't livable is how we got it. There's spam all over the place around here. I couldn't find the whole thing, but I actually saw one of the original or parts of one of the original canning deals. It was when you could buy cans and you literally put the boiling hot food in there, and you put this machine on there, and it rolled a metal lid onto the can. I was like, wow. But apparently that didn't always make it sterile. We'll get some coffee. I'll be right back. Hey, with Craft Forge Steam. Oh, the Viking dude. So, it's cold in the kitchen. Is it getting cold outside? But that's people always make the mistake of not prepping the food that they're going to eat. They think, well, I've got this emergency food, and I'll just eat that. That's why I'm practicing making bread. I can take all-purpose flour and some yeast and mix it up and do the smacky, slappy, slappy stuff and throw it in the oven, and I can make bread. It's not that hard. But making bread from the prep, that's why I'm trying to learn how to do that. I'm actually getting into my long-term food storage to learn how to use my long-term food storage, because you've got to rotate that stuff out at the end. Yeah, the self-rising flour does not last in the stores here, but that's just because people that cook buy self-rising flour. I mean, who wants to learn how to make biscuits? You want to know how to make biscuits? Take 3 cups of flour, or 4, depending on how many biscuits you want to make. Put a tablespoon of oil for each cup of flour. You mix that up until it's all gritty and granularly and stuff. Then you add cold milk to that self-rising flour. And you got to use self-rising flour. You mix it up until it's the consistency, until you can almost pour it out. Because I can't tell you how much milk to put in there. So you've got to do it to whatever. Because I told you to use either 3 or 4. But then you get it to where it's too wet to make a biscuit. And then you add more of the self-rising flour and you stir that in. And when it gets to where it won't stir anymore, then you start folding it over, adding just a little bit more flour each time until it gets to where you can roll it around. And then you break it up into biscuit-sized chunks and you throw it on a pan and stick it in the oven for 30 minutes at 375 degrees. Preheat the oven. You got a biscuit. That's how hard it is. There's another way to do it the way my mom does it, but I can't bring myself to do that because it makes me cry.
Oh, wow.
Is that one of the big ones on the trailer? C103? If you're talking negative 12 Fahrenheit, that's flipping cold. Oh, okay. Okay, well, that's a few people. I haven't noticed that the weather's messed up. I don't know what to tell you. I saw earlier that the crop report for this year is less than stellar. And the planet's just breathing. Ice ages are the planet. Historically, the planet spends more time in ice ages than, okay, the ice comes, and then the life that grows from the melting glaciers is where all the wonderful animals come from. Because places that are harsh and barren and unlivable are lush and moist and cool. Like Texas will be a paradise. Maybe not the Panhandle. It's going to be cold in the Panhandle. Where I'm at, it's going to be nice. Oh, geez. You don't need a heated blanket in 60 degrees. That's what we keep the house at night while we're sleeping. know what the grand solar minimum is, and I believe the grand solar minimum is a thing. But I don't think the grand solar minimum is enough to slap us into a ice age where we have glaciers covering most of Canada in parts of the United States, which I think is what this next one's going to be. I think we're actually going to get some pretty serious weather. And if you think about it, you know, it takes several hundred years for the snow caps to form. I think we're going to wind up with glaciers again, though. I think historically, this is all based in science. Let's do the tinfoil hat thing on this. CO2 levels in the atmosphere get high. The planet warms. All the evidences of glacial melting periods show exceptionally high CO2 in the atmosphere, followed by excessive glacier building, and then the lowering of CO2 because the CO2 gets trapped in the glaciers. The more glaciers melt, the more CO2 is released. So the actual melting of the glaciers feeds what's going on. I personally think that farming practices have greatly accelerated the CO2 thing, because we no longer store carbon dioxide over in the ground during the cold months anymore. Got several 100,000 acres around me that are just bare dirt. There's no carbon stored there at all. All right. See you later, Argentina. Be a good doggy. Good night, bud. You're a very nice doggy. Doggy. Can't believe his dog doesn't like my voice. Anyway, forget to turn that off every time. Anyways, then glaciers form and they grow. When the planet cools down, the CO2 levels are low, and then it takes 30, 40,000 years for it to get back to the point. There was one time when it got really, really high, higher than it is now. And for whatever reason, they don't know, maybe a comet or something. I think it had to do with some volcanoes erupting, maybe one yellow one and one other one somewhere. And they were dumping CO2 in the atmosphere. And so the atmosphere was actually way more full of greenhouse gases than it is today. And we got a pretty serious ice age out of the deal. And they taught land bridge in school like it was this glacier of this snow-covered spit of land that for that possessed
I need to sell 2 more blockbusters, but there's only
early man to walk across and discover, right? No, all that water that turned into snow and fell
Yeah, it has to be
on the glaciers
blockbusters. That's why
lowered sea levels.
if you go to the one that says I just need to sell
There were
those 3 pictures are in the blockbusters, so they'll count.
literal forests and savannas and everything else. You could walk across. There's if it happened again and they were able to go out there and do it, they could probably find civilizations in the bottom of the ocean off the coast of Alaska. You know, evidence of it if they would look for it. I love her too. Maybe so, T-Bar, but don't hate yourself. You can always cut the legs off of your insulated bib overalls and just
Yeah, the end of the world.
I just don't think it's natural. It's, you know, I just want to know what they're going to do if the glaciers come all, you know, what are they going to do with all the people in New York, Detroit, Oregon, you know, where are all those people going to go? And it's not just the northern hemisphere.
You just wait for me to have a hot flash and throw me out in the yard and I'll melt all the snow.
Melt all the snow, yeah. That's all we're going to do here. If you follow all the times people said, this is the end of the world. Yeah. People are always afraid it's going to be the end of the world. And even that end of the world is not the end of the world. So, the end of the world, I mean, I don't know how many times. I mean, the world that I knew is dead. So, the end of the world as we knew it, it's, you know, that's what we call yesterday. Our civil, it's not the human, and it's not American, you know, limited to America or Europe. It's not just first world nations. I mean, we have gotten to a point where we are no longer sustainable. Now, if everybody would be willing to pitch in, there's room for more people on the planet. Honestly, there is. But you can't live in a city and work in economics and contribute to society. It's this, and trust me, I'm not a socialist. It's simple science. You can't have people making more money doing. You can't have people making more money financing an operation than the people actually doing the operation. And that operation work. These mega farms and stuff where they're one of these giant pieces of equipment and everything, come harvest time, that stuff should be all harvest by hand. If the people from the cities would come out there and do the work so they didn't have to run the tractor, that would make sense. If it was all still small farms and people are actually producing their own food and supporting everything. Like the farmer shouldn't have to be the guy that builds the farming equipment. You know, he shouldn't have to build his own implements. Okay. And the guy that, the farmer shouldn't have to ship his own produce. The farmer shouldn't have to, his wife shouldn't have to weave the fabric to make the clothes for the farmer. But that's all become industrialized and commercialized so that the guy who's driving the tractor, growing the cotton, farming the cotton to make the jeans that he's wearing, is actually buying his jeans from another country. Because nobody wanted to do the work of making the cloth locally anymore because they couldn't get rich at it. So the farming industry failed in, when did they start the government cheese and stuff? Does
Who do
anybody
you think I am?
figured you talked to your mom?
Oh, no.
Who knows when they started the farm subsidies? Anybody remember when they started the farm subsidies? Subsidies? Let me see. Sure, Wikipedia knows. If you can trust Wikipedia. Maybe you should have Googled government cheese. Should probably use my phone for this. Anybody see my phone? It got a red case on it. Somewhere with a dead battery, I'm sure. It's in the floorboard of your car. Don't let me forget to get that tomorrow. Da, 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 da. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Give me a date. Oh, they're not going to tell me the date. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is the professional farming cratered when they did the government subsidies and bailed them out. They were no longer farming for themselves. They were farming for the subsidies. They've been farming for the subsidies ever since. One friend of mine, he above what he got at market, he got a check for $63,000 this year for subsidies. And every farmer out there does that. The guys across the street, they farm for subsidies. I don't blame them. The money's there. It's a legit way of doing business. But instead of figuring out a way to make it economically viable again, as in, affecting the market, which would have affected a lot of people making a lot of money, they did it. They just bailed out the guys so the rich people could keep making money off of what they were doing. So, it was good cheese. I love government cheese. Government peanut butter. I mean, you can get powdered milk, cheese, beans, rice, peanut butter. They bailed out the dairy and all kinds of other stuff. Then they started the school lunches and stuff. They were feeding in cafeterias. Notice that a lot of the people that grew food crops stopped growing food crops and everybody switched over to growing. They grew wheat and vegetables here. They used to do watermelons and stuff like that like crazy over in the sandy part of the state. They don't do that anymore. This place was riddled with silos and railways that picked up grain and beans and Milo and moved it all over the country. The only thing they grow here now is cotton. You can get cottonseed oil and cotton from cotton. That's it. There's no food there. They're not growing food anymore. All right. Has whatever. I wish I could see your name. I forgot to monetize this. Dadgummit. Yeah, keeps y'all from having to watch ads, I guess. 2004, there were $295 million given in dairy subsidies. Feed grains, corn, there was $2,841 million in U.S. subsidies. Upland cotton was $1,420 million in subsidies. Wheat, $1,173 million in subsidies. Rice, $1,130 million. That's over $1 billion in subsidies. That's money that we as taxpayers paid to farmers. Just for the record. Yeah, I think they knocked down the last silo in this county 2 years ago. What stuff? Oh, the cheese. Not. I wouldn't know what a grilled cheese sandwich was if we hadn't had government cheese. Cheese was expensive in the store. Well, it's expensive when you're poor. There's a reason every generation thinks it's the end of the world. Because it's always hard. Some generations don't they think they've got everything going their way. They've got their mortgage, they've got their 2-car payments, they've got everything. You know, they're both adults are working their butts off. You know, they've got, you know, every month they can squeeze out $1,500-$1,600 in disposable income over the top of everything else that they're doing. They think, oh man, this is great, and then somebody gets laid off. You know, all of a sudden they're like, man, we could have done with, you know, 2,400 square foot instead of this 3,400 square foot. We really didn't need that big living room. I didn't have to have my own den. I didn't need what was that, $48,000, that little pickup? It's pretty though. You know, I didn't need the pickup to wipe my ass for me. You know. A few of my friends that lived through that mess, they don't live like that anymore. They do this thing called save, and they invest. I don't even think they buy new trucks anymore. They buy used vehicles, and then they keep that. They just buy the parts and do the work and keep the truck running. Because you know, they were that guy that had to sell everything, take a loss, and then yeah, and people, I mean, people don't realize how fragile everything is. But the people in control of everything don't want them to know how fragile everything is. They want them to think that they're what they're doing is getting the machine to feed them when actually they're just literally feeding the machine. The old conservatives knew that the money had to go downhill. That money had to flow downhill for things to work. But the other ones who are now in control, all of them, on both sides of the bird, want it to continue to flow uphill. And you know, when you're out on a hike and you get blisters, and then your blisters start to bleed, and then your feet just say, I'm not walking anymore, you have to just sit down. And your head's not going anywhere. Should have took better care of your feet. That's the one. Woodcraft. You should like type out how to say that first word in phonics. Forge and woodcraft. I'm only going to be on here a little bit. I know what, I'm usually the guy that comes on and then stays on late, but I mean, I've already talked about everything. There's nothing left to talk about, really. Nobody's talking in the chat about anything good. Everybody's just like listening and being those lurkers and stuff. That's crazy because the stuff that a home built in 2020 is going to be falling down by the time the mortgage is paid. The end. The new building practices are shit. I'm saying that your snarky sarcasm might add to the conversation, Chipper. Ginger or Mary Ann or Mrs. Howell, and why? Mary Ann, for crying out loud, because she was a real person. And besides, she was actually prettier than Ginger. And Mrs. Howell was stupid. Mary Ann was my type. Yeah. Should I married Mary Ann? That's the one. Tibor. I mean, they're supposed to. Half of the designs call for hurricane clips. None of the houses get hurricane clips. There are processes involved in putting down that engineered subflooring and stuff that none of the people follow through on, because it adds several hours to each job, and it's all about, I mean, they bid this many man hours. If they can do it in under those man hours, instead of making $15 an hour, they've all made $20, $25 an hour. It's and that fireproof outer wall board as a structural, that stuff is fragile. You can, you could put that on over the outside of sheathing, but if you okay that to be the outside sheathing of the home, that's stupid. But anyway. Yeah, I know. Marianne passed. But I'll always remember Marianne from the show. Just wonder where she got those eyelashes. Marianne was just flat prettier than Ginger. I don't know why. Huh. That's funny, people. And see, I guess, Daisy Duke, I was always like wishing they'd have picked somebody else to play her. I never did have the hots for Daisy Duke. Matter of fact, I found her annoying most of the time. Now, Mary Ingalls. I grew up with Mary Ingalls. Who else? Oh. Which of Charlie's Angels? Dadgummit. The skinny one. Farrah was all right, but she was an airhead. The brunette was too bossy. Now, I've always been more of an apricot guy than a watermelon feller. So I'll do. Let me see. Can't remember her flipping name. Dun, dun, dun. Looking for a name. It's like a total waste of my bandwidth. I don't know. The skinny brunette with the B cups. I don't know what her name was. Yeah, I thought Sally Fields was all right. I couldn't have spent my life with her though. I would have put her in a freaking burlap sack. You see, yeah, if you can find bulk beans like that, allspice, that's the way you do it. If you can go directly to the source, see, like if everything works out, I hope to go to Plainview in places because they still grow food up there. I'm hoping to get to some of the warehouses and get some potatoes and stuff. See, I can't remember. I know it wasn't fair. I can't remember. See, you people, y'all must not have had to work when y'all was younger. Yeah, Bo Duke's trying to do all kinds of stuff. Snyder. When am I going away? What do you mean? Paid? Short hair, Carol.
You said you were gonna be away in March.
Oh, sometime in March. Um, we're gonna take a road trip sometime in March, but then there's a trail. There's a couple of work weeks scheduled for BSR. Yeah, um, yeah, T-Board's right. But anyway, they're and I want to be able to do that, but I wouldn't be much used to them because after hiking all day, I'm not going to be able to work all day. So, um, oh yeah, he was like trying to crowdfund that stand on it. I turned the show on, watched what was going on, enjoyed it, and then that was it. I've never watched every episode of any show ever because if I was free when it was on, I would watch it. If not, I didn't. I watched a lot of episodes of Little House on the Prairie, but then my schedule changed and I didn't watch it anymore. Hell, I didn't even know they blew up Walnut Grove until I found it on YouTube last year. I watched a lot of the Waltons. I didn't watch all of them. Hell, I love the Waltons. All right, Betty Boo. Considering the sounds come from in there and the one me fighting off yawns right now, I don't know. Maybe going to bed pretty soon myself. The Waltons was a good show. If you realize that it started out in the Depression area and just exactly how hard. Now, they were poor, but if you run into the Waltons today, they would be considered middle class. They had their own company going. They had to fight to keep it going. They were running a sawmill. So, to them, it all depends who you are, whether or not you're poor. The end. I had a friend, he makes $100,000 a year. His wife makes 65, and he owns 2 homes. They're both paid for. They don't buy a new vehicle. He won't go in debt on a vehicle. This man is always broke. He's always strapped. He ain't got no spare money. What? He don't spend nobody on nothing. Ain't got nobody. It all depends on who you are, whether or not you're broke, or how you feel. If you own a giant corporation, you got to worry about whether or not one guy's going to pay his bill that month. You're poor. Everybody's poor. It's just poor is subjective, unless you're that guy that literally doesn't have a pot to piss in. We were almost that poor when I was a little kid. Actually, when I was very young, when I was terribly young, was that poor. And if it hadn't been for the benevolence of a Baptist church, not the one we attended, then I probably would have been raised in the church. I was raised in the faith. I just wasn't raised in the church. Widowed at 33 and had 6 children, and the church just didn't think a single widowed woman could raise that many children by herself. So they tried to have the 2 youngest ones, the one who was 2 and a half and his sister of a year and a half taken away from her. Because the song leader was more than willing to adopt the two youngest ones. So they spent the next year dragging the woman through court, trying to have her proved an unfit mother so that they could have two children. They spent a year trying to destroy a woman's reputation. And after several of the deacons had offered to give the young widow woman some help if she needed help with anything, she needed a man for anything, we wound up living out in the middle of nowhere in a house that looked like nobody lived in it. We weren't allowed to turn the lights on at night. Nothing. Stupid. For about a year, then we went back to normal. So, yeah. We were poor as dirt then. And that's the thing. If you're living, you're not poor. You're alive. You're the waking up the next day, scrounging for enough food for that day so you can wake up the next day, and just repeating it over and over again. And your only purpose for being alive is so that you survive to the next day. That's not worth anything. But if you wake up every morning and you do the things you need to do to have the things you need for that day, and you look forward to waking up the next day so you can live another day doing the things you need to do, that's the difference. It's all in your attitude. Whatever you do, don't put yourself in a situation, because you're not going to be able to mentally survive a situation where you have to get up and do the things the next day just so you can survive. If you're doing it just so you can survive, if there's no reason to live, if there's nothing in it for you, it'll drive you insane. Don't be that person. Hey, Sweet Pea, what are you doing on here? Call? What? You can't call me and then complain that I'm ignoring your call, because if you'd been in here earlier like a good daughter in the live stream, you would know that I confessed to leaving my phone in your mom's car. And ignore your call. The phone's not in here. It slid off of the console when I was driving excellently, and it's in the floorboard right where it landed when it slid off the console. Do you need me to go get the phone and call you? Yeah. Your wives don't understand? Neither one of them? Oh, I love you, daughter. I am very proud of how you are handling your life. You are a joy to your old man. How's that? You need to hurry up and get over and cut my hair. All three of them? Robert, you did something wrong. Or how about us your mouth? Tell Mr. Victor, well, that could work. The Russian in me is coming out really hard on my forehead. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Yeah, I got a weakness for pretty women. But the last one I gave in to, I'm scared of, so there we go. My dog wants in the house. I used to cut my own hair, but I got threatened with, all right, NFW. Still don't know how to say that first word. Okay. Can't make up my mind what I want to do. I'm thinking I'm going to have to quit wearing the ponytail, though, because that may be what's giving me the headaches, and I'm done with the headaches. So, yep, there's that. Yeah, the way to get kicked to the curb here, the way for Wes S to be all alone and no longer have Mrs. Wes S in his life would be to shave my head. What is it? Let me see if I can get this right. If men's hair was meant to be short, it would stop growing when it touched their ears. Right? Yep. There's another way she says it, but I won't say it. It's not. She quit going to a chiropractor because he shaved his head, for crying out loud. Oh, he's a good chiropractor. Yeah, but he shaved his head. He had like really, really long hair. And then it went bald. I mean, like literally. Zzz. She still goes, but she didn't go regular like she used to. So. And um, until I had quit wearing the mullets and the long hair and all that stuff until I got with her. Before Mrs. S, I was, I had church boy haircuts all the time. Yeah, that's see, I got healthy hair down here. If I could take this and put it on my forehead, then it could all grow straight out like that. It's weird. I shaved my neck 4 days ago. And it's already 1/4 inch long. This stuff's already grown 1/4 inch since I cut it. If I'd ever just not shave, I think I can have a 4 inch beard in about 6 months. However long that is to grow, I don't know. I should mark it on the calendar when I trimmed it and see how long it takes to get back to where I'm like, okay, that's long enough. I'll cut it off. You still in here, Sweet Pea?
No, she said she had to go by the other end.
Oh, okay. She literally just wanted me to tell her that.
Yeah, because when she was hanging up, she says, "Tell Daddy I love him." But I'd already hung up by when I told you, and so when you said it, she didn't hear it. And then she texted me. She said, "Did Daddy say he loved me?" I said, "Yes," but she didn't hear it. So yeah.
So she tried to call me, and then she couldn't get a hold of me on the phone. So that's fine. I mean, that works.
Bombarded your
Live stream.
She said, "Tell me you love me, damn it."
That's best. If people are like, man, I don't want to get old. If
You're in those beers. Oh no.
What?
Let's say 103.
Yeah, there's that. Why is hair start growing on the outside of your ear? Can anybody
it's
tell?
falling off of your forehead.
Is that where it's growing?
Yeah. It just fell down to the side like that,
Okay. Well, it needs to quit. Something was tickling me on the neck, and this is a year ago. But something was tickling me on the neck, and I kept trying to push my hair out of the way, and finally I was like, I found this hair, and I got it, and I pulled. It had like a 3 inch long hair that was growing out of the back of my ear, and it was way up here on the top of my ear, and it had grown down. It was tickling me back here. I was like, it hasn't come back, so I must have got the roots or whatever. Or was that on this side? Anyway, maybe I just pay closer attention, and whenever it gets long enough to get a hand on, I pull it out now. But why do you need that? Just a minute, Sadie. Do not tear up that door. Thank you. That's a horrible way to have to live your life, Chipper. Oh, yeah, and see, that's the a lot of people don't realize it, but if it got to where it was fixing to be, you know, hit it or get it, that'd be the first thing that happened. Is I'm not gonna give a crap about how I look. I'm, scissors and all this hair would be gone. I'm not gonna fight with it. It's not going to get in my way. Um, so you've been eating those brownies again, ain't you, Chipper?
Yeah.
Hey, Ben. Yeah, I have. It's but every 3 days I trim my eyebrows. That's me first. I mean, but more I keeping up with a hat or a sunburn, when my eyebrows grow out, I'll just start combing them over. I just won't have a forehead at all. Just have eyebrows. I mean, hair grows places it doesn't belong after a certain point in life, and it's just the way it is. You start looking down your nose at everybody. Do I know you? I was having fun. My wife wouldn't let me play. I was playing at the grocery store. She kept telling me to stop. Um, our granddaughter was in our buggy, and the lady's taking the stuff out around her and everything. And I was like, what are we gonna do with her anyway? I mean, she was. I told the lady that was moving on. I said that little girl was in the bread all. We didn't know where her parents were or anything, so we just picked her up and put her in there. Do y'all have like a place for her? There's ring that one. So then the other girl showed up and started putting the groceries in the.
Yeah, the inside's not open, so it's gotta wait till Monday, then.
Yeah, I got they
They put the slip to pick it
I
up.
got the slip to pick it up, but I don't have. They don't open until Monday, so thank you. Anyway, and I was like, anyway, the girl was putting the groceries in the buggy, and she kept trying to make sure she didn't put anything on the little girl. They were like acting like she was going to break or something. They must not know my granddaughter. She's pretty tough. But I was like, that's okay. Just stack them on top of her. She's used to being abused. And the girl looked at me and said, yeah, we usually just keep her in a closet at home. Didn't she hit me? But everybody but her. Oh, it's funny. And then we handed her to her people that were in the checkout right next door to us. Then we had to say goodbye. But that's okay. Hey, Kildare, we got her a whole box of sugar and gave it to her.
That's what I said she was.
What's that? It fixes in.
Yeah. That's what I was telling Sean earlier.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of people. It all depends on where the money's bet. If more people bet on Brady, then it'll go the other way. Then depends on, they're going to have to decide where the margins for payouts are. It all depends on what Vegas says. Who's going to win? The end. Anybody gambling or thinking that, I mean, pro wrestling, pro football, same animal. You want to root for somebody, you need to stop at the call. The end. I don't watch NFL. Don't care anything about the NFL. They didn't. Excellent. Good job, Robert. They made it political. They allowed that guy to make it political. Was done with it. I'm going to show up for the free sausage and stuff, but at in my granddaughter's house.
They didn't invite us over for football.
We're not going over for football. We're going over for free sausage. I don't even think kickoff's still there. What time's kickoff? Like 2 or 3, something like that. But Brady's been playing for how long now? There'll be all kinds of whatchamacallits. I watched Wes S for Mrs. Wes S shirt today. Or not today, yesterday. I put an inquiry in on a guy's old work van, or it's a Suburban. It's a 85 4-wheel drive Suburban. It's manual. It's basically the same thing that SOS has, but the guy hasn't responded to me yet. It's a 4-wheel drive. I don't want a 4-wheel drive, but because I mean, here, seriously, you don't need 4-wheel drive. 90% of the places in Texas, you don't need 4-wheel drive. But everything's enclosed. The only downside to the 4-wheel drives is they get like 14, 15 miles a gallon on the highway, as opposed to the 2-wheel drive ones that you could get 20, 22 miles a gallon. The money it takes to pull the 4-wheel drive out of a vehicle and convert it to 2-wheel drive, I'd rather just buy a 2-wheel drive truck.
We can always just buy that $53,000 truck or $48,000
$48,000 truck. I get 17 miles a gallon.
Yeah, that's so stupid.
It's a canyon, for crying out loud. That was what most of the Tacomas I was looking at. That was all they were getting were 18. But they're 4-wheel drive. I mean, the 2-wheel drive ones, the regular Tacomas, the little 2-wheel drive Tacomas, they're not bad. They get like 22, 23. But they've got so much junk on them. If I want something that gets mileage, I guess it's got to be an old one. Well, if the guy would answer me on that, I'll ask another guy about a 80 something Ford with a inline 6 in it. He ain't got back with me either. I guess they're sold. Everything I want sells pretty fast. I don't need a fast truck. I am, if somebody wants to try to catch up to me, I'm just gonna let them pull up in the passing lane. It's like this. Just put your hand out the window. I want ideally, I'd be able to find a diesel something or other, but I don't want no big giant honking. I want something that was designed for efficiency. I don't plan on pulling a travel trailer or a stock truck or climbing Mount Everest in it with freaking sack crate in the back. I need to carry a couple of totes worth of camping gear, some cameras, and all that stuff. And all.
For the gallon,
Yeah, that's that one I bought at auction for $500, $501. Got 8 miles a gallon. Oh, see, we can be over there and it and out of there before anything. But hold on. She sat there quiet. Do I know you? Told her to quit digging at the door, and she did. And then she started digging at the door again. I forgot all about her. That's what I was. I need my phone. Do it like this. Hold on. So, where's the X button? How'd that make you feel? Dun dun dun. N series Isuzu truck. Has 5.2 liter diesel or turbocharged diesel engine, 215 available horsepower, 452 foot-pounds of torque. Get it in just a crap ton of configurations. Yeah.
Mine's not a 4x4.
What?
Okay.
She has a RAV4, but it's not a 4x4. You can get them in 4x4. But those ones expensive. The RAV4 is just they're pretty sporty. Where we parked today, it was funny. There was like 3 RAV4s that were all had painted identical parked in a row with a silver GMC and a silver Ford SUV all parked there. And every time somebody would drive by, we were all standing there talking. Every time somebody would drive by, they would be looking, trying to figure out why all these silver identical cars were parked in front of a building. That was funny. It was just coincidence, but and I know they're not all that, but I've driven one. I know how reliable the Isuzu trucks are. Who's out? All right, well, I'm off here too. I'm at my 2-hour mark. Ain't no sense in. Yeah, update and shut down. Burning the battery up.
Yeah, the kids have got to buy a new vehicle now. So they ain't got enough room for 4 kids.
Oh wow! That just occurred to me. You're gonna have to trade that one in on something else. These aren't 4x4s. They're like a fleet truck. They're designed. You can use them for the people around here use them for yard service trucks, flatbed delivery, or box truck delivery vehicles. And you know, if a guy could build a pop-up type setup on the back, one where he could get somewhere and you hit a button and the top would raise up and it wasn't catching all the drag.
What truck we needed today?
Oh, that 78 Ford 4x4? Yeah. Yeah, it's F78 F150 short wide 4x4. Had about a 6-inch lift on it.
Oversized mud mangers all the way around. Roll, it was sweet. Roll bar and mud flaps, and she's like, "Oh, there's my truck." Yeah, when I see one that I want, she says ugly things about it. Because I want the same kind of truck, but I want a long wheelbase. I don't care about it being all jacked up off the ground. I don't want to run into the tree limb. She would just as soon drive over something than drive around it, though. She's a little scary. She's that person that wants the bumper sticker on the front bumper down at the bottom in ambulance letters. So like when you see them in your rearview mirror, that you can read them right. And she wants it to say, "Out of the way, bitch." Or "move over," whichever is more politically correct. She has been known to drive right through locked gates. You see. Yep. I can back one of those trucks into places I wouldn't try to back a normal truck. Later all spots. And I mean, they're not, if I was going to have to like go and drive hundreds of thousands of miles a year, there's no way I'd want to be stuck in one of those. But, you know, if you're going to drive for an hour and a half and get out and take a whiz, grab a candy bar, get back in it, drive for another hour and a half, get out and take a whiz, no problem. They maneuver great. And it's just, I mean, the fuel economy of that truck just amazed me. Even catching all the wind that they catch, you're just like, wow. I mean, they're yep. All right, Chipper. That's I need to get off here, folks. We've been on here almost 2.5 hours. We're back to talking about trucks. We talked TV. We talked trucks. Now we're back to talking trucks again. And I'm yawning. And think about it. We are going to take a road trip, though. So we'll try to let everybody know. I mean, if there's a place where we can say, okay, we're going to be in this town at this whatever, and we'll check our emails. And if people want to meet at a park or something, we might do something like that. We might set up a meet and greet people can drive to. But no promises. We've been just playing around with that. We don't know how to make it work yet, though. So. I'm so glad that I don't need a F350 or a 450 or anything like that anymore. The end. Just about everything, T-Boy. All right. Y'all have a good night. Stay alive. Don't die. Okay. Make sure you're set up to live, not just survive. Okay. and live, not just keep breathing. I mean, stay alive. Love you.